Most people grab canned soup thinking it's a quick and comforting meal, but few realize what's really hiding inside that metal container. The convenience is tempting, the branding feels familiar, and the flavors remind us of home. But beneath that warmth lies a cocktail of hidden dangers that quietly build up in your body over time. The first thing most consumers overlook is sodium. One single can of soup can contain more than 800 to 200 milligrams of salt, sometimes even more depending on the brand and flavor. That's nearly half or even 2/3 of your daily recommended limit in just one sitting. High sodium intake doesn't just make you thirsty, forces your heart to work harder, leads to water retention, and raises your blood pressure. Over time, it can contribute to heart disease, stroke, kidney problems, all while you think you're eating something harmless. Many canned soups are also loaded with preservatives to extend shelf life. These preservatives, like sodium benzoate and potassium sorbate, are meant to prevent spoilage but come with their own potential risks when consumed frequently. Some studies link excessive preservative intake to allergies, gut imbalance, and even cell damage due to oxidative stress. Then there's the sugar problem that no one talks about. You wouldn't expect sugar in a bowl of tomato or chicken soup, but brands sneak it in to enhance flavor and mask the salty or metallic taste. Some canned tomato soups contain as much sugar as a dessert, spiking blood glucose levels and contributing to insulin resistance over time. For someone trying to maintain stable energy, lose weight, or manage diabetes, these hidden sugars can completely sabotage progress. Beyond sugar and salt, the list of unrecognizable ingredients on the label tells an even darker story. You'll often find monosodium glutamate (MSG), modified food starch, hydrolyzed protein, and artificial flavor enhancers that manipulate your taste buds to crave more. These additives make processed soups addictive, so you keep coming back for that same flavor hit. The more you eat them, the more you dull your sensitivity to natural, real food flavors, and before long, plain home-cooked soup starts to taste bland. Another hidden danger lies in the cans themselves. Many are lined with a chemical called BPA or bisphenol A, which prevents corrosion but can leach into the food. BPA is a known endocrine disruptor that interferes with hormone balance, potentially affecting fertility, mood, and metabolism. Even though some companies claim to be BPA-free, they often replace it with similar compounds like BPS or BPF that may be just as harmful. It's a reminder that even the packaging can impact your health just as much as the contents inside. The fats used in some creamy soups are another issue. Instead of real cream or butter, many brands rely on hydrogenated oils which contain trans fats. These fats increase LDL cholesterol, lower HDL, heighten the risk of cardiovascular disease. The worst part is that labels can legally say 0 grams trans fat if the serving contains less than half a gram, so a full can could still deliver several grams without you realizing it. Even the vegetables and meats used in most commercial canned soups are often far from fresh. Many are processed, overcooked, and stripped of their original nutrients long before they reach your table. What's left are lifeless ingredients floating in a sodium-heavy broth with very little real nourishment. The vitamins and minerals your body needs for energy, immunity, and repair are often lost during high-temperature canning. It gives the illusion of a hearty meal, but nutritionally, you're often consuming little more than flavored salt water. For people who eat canned soups regularly, the cumulative effect can be significant. High sodium and preservative intake can lead to chronic fatigue, bloating, water retention, and headaches. Over time, it contributes to metabolic stress, inflammation, even an increased risk of heart complications. It's a silent pattern that builds slowly, masked by convenience and flavor familiarity. When you heat up that can, it feels like a small act of comfort, but the real cost is often paid quietly inside your body. Food companies have mastered the art of making unhealthy products look and sound nutritious, and canned soups are one of the best examples of this deception. When you walk down the grocery aisle, the words on those shiny cans immediately grab your attention. Healthy, low-fat, organic, hurt-friendly, or made with real vegetables. These labels are carefully chosen to make you feel safe, proud about your purchase. But the truth is that these claims often hide what's really inside: excess sodium, preservatives, sugars, and artificial ingredients that don't match the health promises printed on the label. It's a marketing illusion designed to trick the subconscious mind into equating comfort food with health. Many people never turn the can around to read the nutrition facts because they assume the front label tells the whole story. That's exactly what the companies want. Take the term healthy choice, for instance. It sounds like the best possible option, but the reality is that many of these healthy soups contain over 600 to 800 milligrams of sodium per serving. The recommended daily limit for sodium is about 200-300 milligrams, but most people easily exceed that by lunchtime if they rely on pre-packaged foods. High sodium is a major risk factor for hypertension and heart disease. The label still proudly says heart healthy, because the soup meets a narrow set of FDA labeling criteria. It's a loophole that allows companies to claim health benefits while ignoring the bigger picture. The same goes for low-fat claims. When manufacturers remove fat, they often add extra sugar or starch to maintain flavor and texture. You end up consuming fewer healthy fats but more hidden carbohydrates, which can spike insulin levels and encourage fat storage. Even the term organic can be misleading. While the ingredients might be sourced from organic farms, the finished product can still be unhealthy. Organic salt is still salt, and organic sugar still affects blood sugar levels the same way. Organic soup loaded with 1,000 milligrams of sodium isn't any better for your heart just because the vegetables were grown without pesticides. Many consumers see the USDA organic badge and automatically assume the soup is a balanced meal, but what they're really eating is just an organic version of processed food. Similarly, made with real vegetables sounds reassuring until you realize the vegetables are dehydrated, reconstituted, and stripped of most of their nutrients through high-heat canning. What's left is color and texture, not genuine nourishment. Calorie and fat-free are two other phrases that deserve skepticism. Many of these soups reduce calories by using artificial thickeners, gums, chemical flavorings. They may have fewer calories, but they also have fewer nutrients, leaving you unsatisfied and hungry again in a short time. It creates a false sense of healthfulness while encouraging overeating later in the day. The packaging, the colors, and the imagery of fresh herbs and steaming bowls are psychological tactics to build trust. They make you feel like you're making a good choice, even when the fine print reveals the opposite. Companies also play with serving sizes to manipulate perception. A label might say 400 milligrams of sodium per serving, but if the can contains 2 servings, you're actually getting double that amount. Most people eat the entire can without realizing they're consuming nearly a full day's worth of sodium. This trick is deliberate. It allows brands to keep their nutritional numbers looking cleaner and healthier on paper. Then there's the ingredient list itself, often filled with scientific-sounding additives like yeast extract, autolyzed protein, or natural flavor. These terms are vague and designed to hide the presence of MSG and similar taste enhancers. Natural doesn't mean what most people think it does. It simply means the ingredient originated from something found in nature, even if it's been heavily processed afterward. This pattern of misleading labels has been around for decades because it works. People trust words more than numbers. Emotional triggers like comfort, homemade, or classic recipe create a sense of nostalgia and security. That's why so many unhealthy canned soups continue to dominate the shelves. They're not selling nutrition, they're selling reassurance. The packaging speaks directly to your desire for simplicity and safety, convincing you that you're making a smart choice when you're really not. The only real defense against these tricks is awareness and skepticism. Always read beyond the marketing slogans, because those cheerful words on the front of the can are designed to protect the brand, not your health. Some of the most popular canned soups on store shelves are also the worst for your health, yet they continue to sell because people trust the brand names they grew up with. Big companies like Campbell's, Progresso, Chef Boyardee have built decades of loyalty through advertising that evokes comfort, nostalgia, and convenience. But when you look past the familiar labels and warm memories, what you find inside those cans is a long list of ingredients that tell a completely different story. Most of these soups are loaded with sodium, trans fats, artificial flavors, and chemical additives that slowly wear down your health over time. They're not meals made for nourishment, they're processed formulas designed for profit and shelf stability. Take Campbell's chunky soups, for example. They're marketed as hearty, protein-packed, made for hungry people. but a closer look at the label shows that one can contain over 800 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly your entire recommended daily intake in one meal. High sodium intake is directly linked to high blood pressure and fluid retention, putting constant stress on your heart and kidneys. The chunky meat pieces that look so appealing in commercials are often not made from whole cuts of meat, but from processed beef containing fillers, soy protein, preservatives. The same goes for their cream of mushroom or cream of chicken varieties, which are full of vegetable oils, modified starch, flavor enhancers to make them taste rich while keeping production costs low. Progresso soups, another household name, aren't much better. Many of their traditional and rich and hearty lines contain MSG-modified food starch and high amounts of fat from cheap oils. Some versions even include hydrogenated oils, one of the main sources of trans fats. These trans fats are among the most harmful ingredients in processed foods because they increase bad cholesterol, lower good cholesterol, and clog arteries. Even small amounts eaten regularly can increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. Yet companies still use them because they improve texture and extend shelf life. Progresso's clam chowder, for instance, is creamy and comforting but contains artificial thickeners, flavor enhancers, preservatives that make it more of a chemistry experiment than real food. Chef Boyardee, though often marketed to kids and families, is possibly the worst offender. Their beef ravioli and similar products are technically not soups but are often eaten as one. The meat filling is processed and reconstituted with soy and fillers, while the sauce contains high fructose corn syrup, added sugars, and artificial colors. The result is a product that's high in calories and low in real nutrition. Gives a quick energy spike followed by fatigue, leaving you craving more processed food later. For growing children or busy adults looking for a quick meal, provides the illusion of substance without actual nourishment. Over time, these foods condition the body to depend on sugar, salt, and fat for satisfaction instead of real nutrients from whole foods. Even brands that sound healthier, like Amy's Organic, can fall into the same trap. While their ingredients are higher quality and organic, some of their soups are still loaded with sodium, sometimes reaching 1,000 milligrams per can. Organic doesn't mean low sodium, and it certainly doesn't make a processed product inherently good for you. It just means the ingredients come from cleaner sources. When people rely on these soups daily, the cumulative salt load can still harm cardiovascular health. The same goes for so-called light or low-fat soups, which may compensate for reduced fat by adding extra starch or sugar to keep the flavor appealing. What makes these soups particularly dangerous is that they don't make you feel unhealthy right away. You eat them, feel full, and move on with your day, unaware that your body is dealing with the aftereffects of excessive sodium, preservatives, and low nutrient density. Over months and years, this kind of diet contributes to chronic inflammation, water retention, fatigue, and eventually, serious conditions like hypertension and metabolic syndrome. The illusion of warmth and comfort hides the slow erosion of health happening behind the scenes. Many people rely on canned soups because they're cheap, fast, familiar, but that convenience comes at a long-term cost. Each spoonful delivers a dose of chemical flavor, excess salt, and artificial fat that your body doesn't know how to process properly. It's a slow, silent exchange, immediate satisfaction for long-term damage. Most people never think twice before tossing a can of soup into their shopping cart, but the truth about what you're eating is hidden in plain sight. On the nutrition label and ingredient list, the front of the can is designed to make you feel good, but the back of it reveals what's really going into your body. Reading the label might seem tedious, but it's the most powerful tool you have to protect yourself from unhealthy ingredients and marketing deception. Every single line on that small panel of text tells a story, and if you learn to read it correctly, you can instantly tell the difference between real food and processed filler. It starts with serving size. Many canned soups list 2 servings per can, even though most people eat the entire thing in one sitting. That means whatever you see on the label, whether it's 400 milligrams of sodium, 10 grams of sugar, or 2 grams of fat, should actually be doubled. The serving size trick allows companies to make their products look lighter, cleaner, and healthier than they really are. Next comes sodium, one of the biggest red flags. A genuinely healthy soup should have no more than 400 to 500 milligrams of sodium per serving, but most canned soups easily cross 800 or even 1,000 milligrams. Some hearty varieties go beyond that, putting you over your daily limit in one meal. High sodium doesn't just raise blood pressure, it causes bloating, water retention, and can leave you feeling sluggish and dehydrated. When you eat soup that's high in sodium, you might feel temporarily satisfied, but your body is silently working overtime to balance the salt levels in your blood. Over time, this constant strain takes a toll on your kidneys and cardiovascular system. Then there's the ingredient list, which often looks like a science experiment instead of food. A simple, honest soup should contain ingredients like chicken, water, carrots, celery, salt, spices, basic items you could find in your own kitchen. But if you see words like monosodium glutamate, hydrolyzed protein, autolyzed yeast extract, or modified food starch, that's a sign the soup is heavily processed. These additives are designed to enhance flavor and texture without using real ingredients. MSG in particular can trigger headaches, bloating, fatigue in sensitive individuals. Modified starches and gums, while technically safe, provide no nutritional value and are often used to create artificial thickness that imitates homemade texture. Another sneaky area to pay attention to is sugar. Many canned tomato and vegetable soups contain added sugar to balance out acidity or enhance taste. You might not think a savory soup would have sugar, but one could contain anywhere from 8 to 20 grams of it. That's like eating multiple teaspoons of sugar in what's supposed to be a healthy meal. Excess sugar spikes insulin levels, leading to energy crashes and increased cravings later. Companies rely on this because it makes you crave the same brand repeatedly without realizing why. You should also look closely at the fat content and the type of oils used. Many creamy soups are made with hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils, which contain trans fats. Even if the label says grams trans fat, the FDA allows this if the amount per serving is under 0.5 grams. If you eat the entire can, those small amounts add up. Trans fats are one of the most harmful ingredients in processed foods because they increase bad cholesterol and reduce good cholesterol. A healthier soup should use real cream, olive oil, or coconut milk instead of hydrogenated oil or vegetable shortening. And don't overlook preservatives and artificial colors. Ingredients like sodium phosphate, potassium chloride, and artificial caramel color don't belong in real food. They're added to make old ingredients look and taste fresh, to maintain the perfect consistency for years on the shelf. Every spoonful of soup containing these chemicals is a reminder that what you're eating was engineered to last, not to nourish. The final detail to check is the ingredient order. Ingredients are listed from highest to lowest quantity, so if the first few words include salt, sugar, or oil, that's a sign the soup is more about flavor manipulation than nutrition. Real soups should list whole foods first, like water, chicken, beans, or vegetables, not additives or fillers. Learning to read labels isn't just about avoiding bad ingredients, it's about reclaiming control over what you put into your body. Food companies rely on the fact that most people don't check. The moment you start flipping the can around and reading the fine print, you stop being an easy target for their marketing. It's one small habit that separates the mindful eater from the misled consumer. It's the only way to ensure that your quick meal doesn't quietly damage your long-term health. Not every canned soup is a nutritional disaster, and that's where making smarter choices really comes into play. The goal isn't to eliminate convenience altogether, but to learn how to choose products that nourish your body instead of burdening it. While the majority of canned soups are filled with excessive sodium, preservatives, and artificial ingredients, a few brands stand out for their commitment to real food. These brands use organic vegetables, clean proteins, and minimal additives to create soups that actually support your health. The key is knowing what to look for and understanding that even among the better options, moderation and mindfulness still matter. Pacific Foods is one of the best examples of a brand doing it right. Their organic chicken and wild rice soup contains simple ingredients like chicken, carrots, celery, and whole grain rice. They avoid MSG, artificial flavors, chemical preservatives, relying on slow cooking to develop flavor naturally. The sodium content is still higher than homemade soup, but it's significantly lower than the typical canned varieties from big-name brands. When you warm up a bowl of Pacific Foods soup, you're actually tasting real food, not a laboratory mix of powders and thickeners. This makes it a reliable option for people who want something quick but don't want to sacrifice their health in the process. Amy's organic soups are another example of a middle ground between convenience and nutrition. While some of their soups, like the lentil or minestrone, do have moderate sodium levels, they're made with certified organic vegetables, beans, and grains without GMOs or synthetic ingredients. Amy's vegetable barley soup, in particular, is a good balance of fiber, vitamins, and plant-based protein. The company avoids hidden sugars and artificial enhancers, which means the flavor comes from real vegetables and herbs. It's not perfect, but it's a step up from the heavily processed options that dominate most grocery shelves. Choosing Amy's or similar organic brands helps you replace empty calories with real nourishment that supports energy, digestion, and heart health. Health Valley Organic is another solid brand for those who are serious about cutting sodium. Their no salt added line, especially the minestrone and vegetable soups, is one of the few truly heart-friendly canned options available. By skipping added salt, they allow you to control the flavor and sodium content yourself, which is essential for people managing blood pressure or kidney issues. You can season it naturally with herbs, lemon, or olive oil for extra taste without compromising your health. What makes Health Valley stand out is that they use organic ingredients and avoid MSG, artificial preservatives, and added sugar. This kind of product proves that canned food can be both convenient and clean when made with integrity. When looking for safer canned soups, focus on the ingredient list first. The shorter it is, the better. Look for whole, recognizable foods like beans, lentils, chicken, or vegetables listed first, followed by water or broth. Avoid soups that list salt, sugar, or oil at the top. If a soup contains only natural herbs, spices, maybe a touch of olive oil or sea salt, it's a good sign. Always check the sodium per serving and try to keep it under 500 milligrams whenever possible. This small step alone can make a big difference in your overall health. It's also smart to use canned soups as a base rather than the entire meal. You can easily add fresh vegetables, beans, or grains to boost nutrition and flavor. Adding spinach, kale, quinoa, or cooked chicken to a canned soup instantly makes it more filling and nourishing. This strategy not only stretches your money, but also transforms an average soup into something wholesome and satisfying. Choosing safer canned soups isn't about giving up comfort food, it's about redefining it. With a little awareness and effort, you can still enjoy the warmth and ease of a bowl of soup without exposing your body to unnecessary chemicals and excess salt. The best part is that when you start eating cleaner, your taste buds adapt, and you begin to crave real food again instead of processed imitation. Over time, these better choices accumulate into noticeable changes in your energy, mood, and long-term well-being.